All across the world, there appears to be tales of ancient dragons having once roamed the land in nearly every nation. This could very well be evidence of large serpent-like creatures having once existed all across the world, only to be driven to extinction by native populations. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be taking a look at these three mysterious creatures. The Lindwurm. The Lindwurm derives from two German words and translates as ensnaring serpent. This serpent was renowned in legend for causing terror. During the 19th century, Gunnar Olof Hilton Cavelius, a Swedish folklorist, compiled a set of eyewitness reports of the Lindwurm. Descriptions of the Lindwurm's appearance vary across accounts. The most common depiction of the creature is a serpentine body with wings, a dragon-like head, reptilian skin, and two clawed arms in the upper body. Because of its physique, the creature did not walk, but rather slithered around the ground like a snake, using its arms to navigate. Notably, the Lindwurm was said to have a mouth big enough to swallow a man at first bite, and when the explorer Marco Polo set eyes on the creature, he described it as being mighty enough to take down a man on a galloping horse with a body that was 10 palms in girth and 10 paces in length. Characteristics prescribed to the Lindwurm also vary. The shed skin of the creature was believed to enhance a person's knowledge of nature and medicine, and some believed sightings of the creature was a sign of good luck. However, most accounts focus on the terror caused by the Lindwurm. The creature was known to cause death and destruction wherever it went, from rivers to seas and to land. It feasted on cattle and other livestock, and was even known to invade local churchyards and consumed the bodies of the dead. Unsurprisingly, this notorious creature has featured in many folklore tales. In Norse mythology, the dwarf Fafnir is turned into a Lindwurm, while an Austrian tale features a Lindwurm that had caused a whole city to flood. In order to defeat the creature, the Duke offers a reward for anyone who can catch it. So some men tie a bull to a chain knowing that the Lindwurm will eat the bull. Once it does, the creature is hooked like a fish and can be killed. The story also told by Saxo Grammaticus tells of Ragnar Lodbrok, a king of Denmark and Sweden. The Earl of Gotteland's daughter, Thora Borgerhjort, was given a baby Lindwurm by her father. However, the Lindwurm grew more powerful and eventually took Thora hostage. Thora was only saved when the brave Ragnar killed the creature. The most famous tale the Lindwurm features in is called Prince Lindwurm. In this story, a king and queen long for a baby. One day, a sorceress tells the queen to place 2 handled chalices in her garden, and in the morning, they will grow into a red and white cross. The sorceress tells the queen to eat the red rose to give birth to a prince, but that she cannot consume both roses. The queen follows the sorceress's instructions and eats the red rose. However, she cannot stop herself from also consuming the white rose as well. The queen fell pregnant, but when her labour came, she gave birth to a serpent-like creature that slithered away. The prince grows up completely unaware of the circumstances of his conception and birth. He eventually decides to seek a bride, but soon finds himself blocked by the Lindwurm, which hisses at him. "A bride for me before a bride for you." When the prince confronts the queen, she breaks down and tells him how the Lindwurm is the boy's elder twin. The prince finds and sends multiple brides to the Lindwurm, none of the girls knowing who it is they are marrying. However, the Lindwurm eats each of the girls. Finally, a poor shepherd's daughter agrees to marry the Lindwurm. The girl comes across the same sorceress from the beginning of the tale, who tells her to wear 10 white dresses and carry a tub of lye, milk, and whips on her wedding night. Following the sorceress's instructions, on her wedding night, the girl orders the Lindwurm to shed its skin, then whips him with a lye-soaked lash, bathes him in milk, and embraces him. After shedding its final skin, the Lindwurm is revealed to be a handsome prince, and the two live happily ever after. The Worm of Linton. The Linton worm is a mythical beast that derives from Scottish culture in the 12th century. The story of this worm has fascinated many for centuries. It has been described as a giant worm-like beast, somewhere between 10 and 12 feet in length, and wider than an ordinary man's leg. The worm was said to live in two places. The first was in the small boggy area of Linton Loch, and the second was a hollow on the northeast side of Linton Hill, a spot now aptly known as the Worm's Den. It was said that the Linton worm would crawl from its lair and roam up to 2 miles from its den around the countryside, leaving a trail of demolition. The worm fed on cows, sheep, pigs, vegetables, and even people. The people of Linton were unsurprisingly terrified and locked themselves inside their homes, and farmers abandoned their farms. Any attempts to fight the worm were seen as futile. People were afraid to get close enough to the creature to fight it, and darts and arrows only inflicted minor wounds. News of the creature reached William de Somerville, who was intrigued by this worm that had caused so much terror. He travelled up to Linton to see the creature for himself. He waited at dawn outside the worm's den, and when the worm slithered out and spotted him, it reared up and froze. Somerville was intrigued that the worm was not showing any outward aggression towards him, and after several days of observations, he acknowledged that whenever the worm came across a human, it did not attack. It would just stare at the human with its jaws hanging wide. He began to think of a weapon that would kill the creature and came up with the idea of a lance nearly twice as long as was usual, wrapped in iron. As soon as the weapon was constructed, Somerville modified it by placing a small thin iron wheel fitted several inches from the tip of the lance. To this wheel he attached several peats, which had been dipped in brimstone. Once again returning to the worm's den, Somerville instructed his servant to set alight these peats, and then charged towards the worm and plunged the spear down its throat. The worm died, writhing and screaming in pain. In fact, the creature's screams were said to be so loud they were responsible for causing the curious topography of the hills in the region. The carcass of the worm was put on display to the joyful population of Linton. The reigning monarch, King William the Lion, thanked Somerville by knighting him and making him Royal Falconer and first Baron of Linton. The people were so grateful to Somerville that they constructed a sculpture in his honour. The Somerville stone of a knight on horseback defeating a beast is one of the earliest Norman carvings to survive in Scotland. The Saucburn Worm. The tale of the Saucburn worm took place in the village of Saucburn in Durham. Saucburn is a peninsula, boasting a tumble-down Saxon church full of carvings by stonemasons that mix Scandinavian mythology with Christian symbolism. However, what it's best known for is the terrifying creature that was said to once terrorize the local population. This creature has been described as a strange and monstrous serpent with poisonous breath that was brought to the area by an Italian traveller. It was said to be responsible for devouring over 1,000 people and leaving Saucburn in chaos. The people of Saucburn were finally saved by John Conyers, who managed to slay the creature with his falchion. The dead creature fell into the River Tees, and any remainder of it was buried under the Great Grey Stone, which is still visible to this day. The people of Saucburn felt so indebted to Conyers that they dedicated the Saucburn estate to his family. Their reign of the estate lasted until 1635, when William Conyers died without a male heir. The events of that day are still evident in Saucburn's traditions. Conyers' falchion is still kept in Durham Cathedral, and even now, each newly consecrated bishop is presented with the falchion over the River Tees. When handing over the falchion, a speech is read out that retells the story of the champion Conyers who slew the worm, dragon or fiery flying serpent which destroyed man, woman and child. Perhaps the most famous tribute to Conyers' brave act is how the story reportedly was the inspiration for Lewis Carroll's poem Jabberwocky. But what do you make of these interesting stories? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.